Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Executive Director of Silicon Slopes, Mr. Clint Betts.
Wow. Welcome to the first ever Silicon Slopes Tech Summit. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you for braving the weather. Thank you for being here. This is amazing. It's been a long, winding, and implausible journey that has led to me standing here in front of you today to launch an annual event that I genuinely believe will become the cornerstone in our community's efforts to be recognized as a national and global innovation hub.
We know that diversity of experience, background, and ideas makes us better.
The most important thing actually from a CEO is thought leadership. You have to make sure you're picking the right direction for your company.
Humility is not thinking less of yourself than you should. It's thinking about yourself less.
Most influential people look beyond themselves.
And even on those toughest days, you basically need to keep your confidence. You need to get on the stage, get your game face on, and make it happen.
From the people who represent them right now, we want them to be proud of us, that we took this opportunity and this platform and this mic, and we spoke up and we spoke out for them, and we spoke out for change and growth.
Because I don't look at myself as a female CEO, I look at myself as a talented CEO.
In your life, there will be moments when you feel stuck, when things aren't working, when you're struggling. And you get to choose in that moment whether to be the victim or beneficiary of your experience and your history.
If you can take those as lessons that lead you towards that eventual win, it changes the dynamic completely.
If you're not kind of out there standing for things that that people care about, then it's not possible for people to feel that strongly about what you're doing.
I don't think there's ever been a more exciting time to be a part of the tech community here.
I think that for me, I think the feeling for the last couple years is there's nothing you can't do in Utah.
Everyone, please welcome the Silicon Slopes President and Chief Executive Officer, Clint Betts.
How are we? How's everybody doing? Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna have an incredible 2 days. I have a whole script here, but real quick, I was watching that video. Man, I used to be a lot skinnier and a lot younger. Just to give you a sense for how long we've been doing this. Can you believe what we've built together here? Give yourselves a round of applause. It really is quite something. By the way, real quick too, this is exactly where Michael Jordan pushed off Brian Russell and made that shot, right? So kind of a bittersweet to stand right here where we lost the NBA Finals. I want to talk today a little bit about community, what it means to build a community, and I want to use Summit as an example. Summit wouldn't exist without a community of thousands upon thousands upon thousands. We have a world-class tech summit in the state of Utah thanks to all of you. That is unbelievable. And guess what? We will never move this thing to Vegas, never move it to Austin, never move it to New York City, never to move to LA. It will always be in the state of Utah. Always. No single person, company, VC firm, or bank owns this thing. Silicon Slopes is a 501c3 nonprofit with a rotating board of leaders from the community. Again, how incredible is that? You don't find that in other ecosystems, and again, that's thanks to all of you. And what Summit is it's Utah. And this community has turned it into one of the most prominent tech events in the world. So that's where we are. Now, I want to talk about the future. I want Summit and the Silicon Slopes organization to exist for more than 100 years. Don't you? And by the way, I don't want to be the guy standing here with the mic for all that time. I hope it changes and improves and gets better as new generations and new leaders take it to even greater heights. Today, I'd like to talk about the future of this event. For 6 years, Summit has been a 2-day event in downtown Salt Lake City. The first 5 years were at the Salt Palace. This year we're at Vivint Arena. Give it up for Ryan Smith for hosting us in his house. Next year, we're going to turn this thing into a week-long event and take it to every part of this great state, from Logan to St. George. Every part of Utah is part of Silicon Slopes. If we say we're going to be open and accessible to all, let's freaking mean it. And let's go across this entire state and bring this summit and the energy and this community to every part of Utah. We'll celebrate Utahns building startups and companies throughout the state, and we'll make sure the world knows what makes Utah such a hotbed of entrepreneurship and innovation. You see this slide up here. These are the dates. We're calling it Utah Week. We'll still hold a 2-day global event in downtown Salt Lake City, but we're going to take this thing and the megaphone, this microphone right here, to the community that has built this and the state that has built this. We're going to every corner of this state. How does that sound? Should we do that? What we'll do for this week is we'll do events and parties and create connections that will last a lifetime, similar to what we've been doing the past 6 years. This is my email. This will be a community project. We want you to continue owning this as much as anyone else. I can't stress this enough. No one owns Silicon Slopes. No one owns Silicon Slopes Summit other than all of you. So let's keep doing it. Reach out to us about getting involved. Most of you know my email. I put it up on the screen. Email me and be a part of this thing. When we created this organization in 2015, our mission was simple: put Utah's tech community on the map. We wanted to build a world-class tech event in Utah, and we wanted to attract talent, capital, and attention to what all of you were building. And I gotta say, guys, mission accomplished, right? I feel like we've done that. And so now let's talk about the future and a future worth building. We now have an opportunity to build the future we want and to work with other communities and organizations in this state to create the future that we want. And I want to be clear about something. I spoke about this at the last summit, the one before that, the one before that, and I think it's even more relevant and vital now. We don't necessarily need to agree or be entirely aligned on the future of this state. But I hope we can be intentional about our desire to work together productively and go about this important endeavor which is the future of this state. And I hope we do that for the love of Utah. And I want to be clear about something. I said this at the last summit. I said, Twitter is not real life. And in the room, I was like, yeah, Twitter's not real life. And then, like, Silicon Slopes, they, like, live tweet this thing, right? And someone replied to the tweet and said, well, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Twitter might be more like real life than real life. And it caused a debate, and it was kind of like the exact thing I was talking about. The work happens off of social media, right? The work happens. Roll up your sleeves to be a part of this thing, because we're going to need you. So let's talk about what this means. I've now been in the community building game for more than a decade. In that time, Utah has changed in profound and fundamental ways. Silicon Slopes played a significant role in that change, but I want to be clear that tech isn't the only reason things look different. Our population is growing, our economy continues to outperform, and we're closer than ever to adding another professional sports team. Of course, I think it should be an MLB team with the stadium in Utah County. Right? If you give me that, I'll keep my mouth shut when you call the team the Utah Pioneers. Because we all know that's happening. With success comes challenges. You know what they are. Housing prices, water, air quality, traffic. We have cookie wars, things of that nature. Except for that last one, we've talked about these problems for some time now. We're impatient and we want things to move faster, but I believe progress is being made on all fronts. You can yell at me on Twitter if you disagree. There's a success challenge that we don't talk about. As an ecosystem matures and experiences some success, the desire to be its leader or receive credit or monopolize the microphone increases exponentially. And by the way, there's nothing inherently wrong with that desire. In my experience, more often than not, those who seek the microphone do so with sincerity. They usually deserve the thing. Plus, who's going to tell them they don't? And that's kind of my point. A cohesive, productive community passes the proverbial microphone to anyone who desires to grab it. It should not be owned by one person, one organization, or group. Here's another thing I say a lot. There's no such thing as competition in community building. I know that that can be hard for some to wrap their head around, and a bit rich coming from the CEO of Silicon Slopes. But I firmly believe in the principle of a rising tide raising all boats. The one thing that will trip us up faster than anything else and force us to solve straight up problems rather than success problems is tearing each other down in a pointless battle for the spotlight. We got where we are by building each other up, celebrating our successes, and giving back to the next generation. Yeah. That's what makes this community unique. And everyone, let's not stop now. If we do, we'll lose the heart and soul of this community. I don't know how much longer my voice will matter, but what I know for sure is that everyone in the Silicon Slopes community matters. You don't matter more than anyone else, but no one matters more than you. If you're building in this community and start feeling competitive with another group, take a step back and focus on why you got in the game in the first place. You're not doing this for the microphone or the spotlight. Leave the politics to the politicians. We've got a community to serve. That's my speech. Yeah, thank you. So welcome to Silicon Slopes Summit number 6. I want to bring out 2 incredible gentlemen, the founders of Brainstorm, Eric and John. Come on out. Did you guys
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So these guys put on and organized with a whole bunch of partners that I'm sure you're going to talk about the 1 million meals we packaged for Utah families in need. They raised the money for it, again, with a bunch of other partners and organizations. It's unbelievable what happens here. Please give them a round of applause for doing this.
Oh, thank you. We represent about 8,000 other people that are involved in this effort. It's great to be here. Thanks for having us. We love this community, and we're passionate about it. And we want to tell you about this. Across the street, in the Salt Palace, in the hall that's very closest to this arena, just the hall that's right on 300 West, right now sits over 200,000 pounds of food in pallets, in truckloads and truckloads of pallets. It's all paid for already, thanks to generous donors. The Utah Food Bank is teed up. They're ready to receive it and distribute it all throughout the state to children and families in need. That's about 400,000 to 500,000 people, or 1 in 7 in our state. There's just one more part. There's one more box we need to check to make this happen so that it all comes together, and that's for us, this group here, for some time during the summit to walk across the street and spend a little bit of time and help us pack 1 million meals.
Thanks, John. So, it's just across the street, as John mentioned. Don't let that barrier, we're all grown up here, we can cross the street. Don't let that barrier stop you. As John mentioned, it takes about 7,000 to 8,000 volunteers to do that. So we need you. And we want you to head over there anytime today or tomorrow between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. So please, please do that. We'd be most grateful. And again, the benefit is to Utah families. All right, so John, you were right. We want to talk just a little bit, or Clint, I think you said this, about some wonderful people, families, individuals, and organizations that help out in this great cause. So these are our partners and our donors. We're so grateful for them. None of this happens unless they participate in this, help us purchase the food, and get the word out. So we're grateful for them. Especially, I want to just note the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which you'll see is not only a partner, but a significant donor of ours. We are so grateful. This is our 4th year doing this, Clint. Pretty good. So not quite 6, but 4. And it's been a great journey. We are so grateful, finally, last but not least, for you as a community. You know, this is one of 3 pillars. The serve part is one of 3 pillars of Silicon Slopes. We're grateful for that. We're proud of that. And you always show up to make this happen. This is the 4th year. We really need your help. Go across the street. Give us an hour, 30 minutes if you only have 30 minutes, but come across the street. I promise it'll be one of the best parts of your day.
It's time to give you guys a round of applause.
Yeah, that's
now.
right.
All right, thanks, gentlemen. Give it up, and thank you to the partners and organizations. This is incredible.
Thank you. Appreciate it.